uh, I'm trying to think more about everything that I do,
Mm, mm.
and so, you know, instead of mindlessly playing the game,
Sure.
you know, I
I respect it.
figured so you should start somewhere. Well, I guess shouldn't say I started here, but it's part of the process, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, I respect that. How long you been playing Overwatch?
I've been actually playing Overwatch since day one release.
Wow.
I played on console, and then
Yeah,
I dropped the game like I don't know, probably a year
sure,
after it came out.
sure, sure.
And then when I came back on PC during I think it was after Moth Meta.
Got it. Okay, okay, makes sense. What got you to come back?
PC, to be honest. The game is just way more enjoyable on PC.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I agree with that. I've heard horror stories of console and turning and 180s with Tracer, and you get good enough of the game, and then you run Decembers,
Yeah,
and you're like,
and
all right.
there's also just that mental hurdle on console of like maybe if I just aimed better, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
But it's just so hard. You don't there's just something about when you realize how good mouse aim actually feels, you
yeah.
just can't go back.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, so then my question is: you've played for a while. What's kept you invested in the game for? I mean, what is it? 7 years now. I mean, obviously you've had your
Yeah.
upturns and downturns, but I'm curious.
Uh so whenever I went to PC, I had a group of friends, and
Mhm.
then after that, it kind of fell off. Some weird dumb drama happened. It's
Sure,
whatever. It's over
sure.
with. But I have like this core group still that I play the game with, and to be honest, Overwatch has ruined every other shooter on the market for me. Like, I just can't
Oh
do it.
no. Okay.
I tried playing Valorant. I just it's so long and it's just you die, you don't do anything for like 2 minutes or whatever the rounds are.
Yeah, yeah, makes
Same
total
with
sense.
Siege.
Yeah,
Fortnite I can't get into, it just bores me because it's just like you walk around and then suddenly you die to a bush Wookie.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's funny you should say that because I'm actually working on a project right now of like basically called a love letter to Overwatch 2. And we talk about so many of the other, nice things that we talk about Overwatch because it's very easy to be very negative about a lot of things, but there are a lot of things that Overwatch 2 does so, so, so well. So okay. So you're a support player primarily. Jericho, Ana, Lucio,
Mhm.
and Mercy. I feel I can play the entire support cast. I just don't enjoy the other heroes. Fair enough. Now, what got you to be a support player? I assume that you've probably played a little bit of everything over like the last 7 years, but you cemented support as kind of like your role and the heroes within that role as well. So, what is it about those heroes, and maybe what is it about that role that really clicks with you?
Uh, familiar. I I think you know what I'm trying to say.
I think so too.
Familiarity.
Yeah.
Uh, because back whenever I played consoles and stuff,
Hmm.
one of my main games was Battlefield,
Hmm.
and I would always play the medic role because nobody play it, and you
Hmm.
could just kind of be self-sufficient. You could heal
Yep.
yourself, and you could
Yep.
just revive people.
Yep.
And so that's just kind of what I do. And I also generally just play healers and like MMOs and stuff.
Sure. Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. So, honestly, I just want to move beyond my mindless gameplay and find enjoyment in the competitive aspect of the game. Okay. Plat at the moment. Is that still the case?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I
So
placed Plat 3 and I got up to Plat 2 last night.
nice. Congratulations. How often, how long do you play Overwatch per week and day? Probably around 5 to 10 hours a week, mostly on the weekend. Okay. And then I assume this is also mostly with friends as well.
Yeah, it's mostly
Okay.
quick play.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. So, a lot to unpack here because I think for you, would you describe Overwatch as being like more of a social game with for you?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, makes sense. So then,
Like
go ahead.
I've been trying to play the game more
Hmm.
on the competitive side, just like on my own. Uh and let me just the solo queue experience just is not fun for me.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. I think I can even see that in your goals, right? Where it's like long term, you'd want to overcome this weird problem where ranked play is intimidating and it causes performance anxiety, really bad mental habits. That's basically non-existent in unranked. You want to get to a point
Yeah.
where ranked is kind of like the new quick play, where I'm just playing for a good time. It's been an issue since Overwatch 1. I would be that guy that basically plays at a random point and then never touch the mode. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? I don't know what it is about the feeling of losing and winning in competitive that can be very daunting. I mean, when I first played Overwatch, it was my first first-person shooter. I got into it for the same reasons that you did, and it really. I don't think I touched competitive for over a year. Like I really don't think I played any competitive, and when I did, it was legitimately like a shrine of like I had to be in the right mental state. I had to have my mouse and everything was ready, and I had to shut down all my other programs to make sure nothing happened, and I had to make sure that the audio was right, and I had to warm up for like an hour, and I played like one game, and I was like, everybody join voice, and I'm trying to like shot call, and I'm like sweating, and it felt like at the end, it was like honestly, if we won, it felt like more of a relief, than it felt like anything else, and if we lost, it just felt like the world was ending, and I could see my number go down, and
Oh yeah,
you know,
Overwatch
and
1 number go down,
you
turn
know,
off the game.
yeah, pretty much, and I think like nowadays I just at some point I had to get over that. At some point I had to get over that, and the reason I got over that was because my goal was I wanted to get good at Overwatch. I wanted to get to platinum. I wanted to get to diamond. God forbid, grandmaster at some point. And I knew that I was never going to get there approaching ranked, which is the best training mode like this. It wasn't
Right.
going to happen. So for you, you kind of have like you have a very simple problem, right? If it makes you
Mhm.
feel any better, a lot of people struggle with this. The problem, maybe not the problem, but the question you have to ask for yourself is, it's like, how serious am I about improvement? You said that you're definitely taking this as like a first step towards taking things more seriously, but more is vague, right? You're plat. You're above average at the game. Congratulations. Well done. But
Right.
how much better do you want to get? If you're like, oh, I want to get the Masters, bad news. You're going to have to play ranked.
I know.
If you're like, I want to get, I think Diamond would be fine. I don't know, good news. You probably don't need to play much more ranked. Maybe just a couple of detailed changes here and play it here and there when you feel like it.
Right.
Right?
I think my like short term in terms of like ranked probably I'd be happy just to get like mid diamond
Sure.
probably.
Sure. So, obviously that might lead to another goal and to another goal and to another goal. But for right now, that seems reasonable enough. And I think that I think it's a very careful line that you have to tread, where you want to take the game a little bit more seriously. You want to be a little bit more competitively minded and a little bit more focused. I respect that. But at the same time, you need to find that line between doing a better job at what you're doing without making the social fun aspect, which is probably more important to you, not stealing away from that.
Right. And rank is basically ego, and it's also
Uh-huh.
fun to have ego at times, you know what I
Sure,
mean?
sure. Well, to me, it's about you build confidence through accomplishing things, right?
That's
So if,
true, yeah.
so if you set a goal about something that's meaningful to you and you accomplish that goal because you put the work in, feels good, right? You might not put a bumper sticker in your car that I hit diamond in Overwatch, right?
Right.
Unless you want your back windshield kicked in, but it builds confidence. Anything that you do, right? So the question for you is, it's like there is not anything necessarily inherently good about being good at Overwatch, but if that is one of the things that you want to get good at, then sure,
Right.
let's find out. So for you, maybe let's talk about like some small adjustments. Okay, more than anything else, no revolutionary treatment here. No more quick play. No, you have to solo queue every single day. None of that nonsense. Let's just
Oh,
make
no.
what you're doing right now a little bit more productive. So on the average week, what's the amount of Overwatch that you play during the week? And how much of that is quick play? And how much solo queue do you play right now? And the average week, and how long are you playing with friends? And is it all just quick play? Like, give me like the full general breakdown. I know I'm sure it depends, but just give me the full rundown.
So I basically signed up for the coaching, and then after that, it's just
Yep.
it signing up for the coaching was kind of like the man. I have to play ranked. I have to get replay
Yep.
codes.
Yep. 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 Yep.
So that was just kind of like me trying to force myself to play the mode to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
How'd you do? Did you survive? I mean, I know obviously you ranked up to plot two, but how
yeah.
miserable of an
So
experience was it?
it just feels weird. Like number one, solo queuing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, that's already a departure from how you normally play, correct? Do you have a solo
right.
queue quick play?
Sometimes, but not enough to like,
Right.
you know.
Right. Okay. Keep
But
going.
played the mode, um, got some codes, and then it wiped the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, oh man, I have to play the mode again.
Mm-hmm.
And I go in, and I don't know what it is, but the game mode feels faster than when I play quick play. Like it feels like a brand new game.
I mean, it definitely could be a little bit of a what's the opposite of placebo? Well,
Right.
but you could be just like your impression. Um, but I also think that to an extent that is true, and people are trying harder, unquestionably. You know.
Right. Like the before the patch, I just kept getting Sombra Tracer and I'm just on support and I'm just like I can win these duels
Yeah.
and stuff, like I can take care of myself, but then my whole team just falls apart around me and I'm like, "Man, is this me? Am I not killing them fast enough or
Yeah.
whatever? Am I not dealing with the problem in the right situation?"
Yep. 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 Always something
So
you could be doing better, but it can be stressful.
right. And so there's that. But to go back to the question of what's the breakdown? So recently it's comp on the weekdays because I don't really get to play with my friends because I work nights during the
Mm-hmm.
weekdays.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get to play with them on the weekends. And so weekend is like quick play and
Mm-hmm.
generally from my
Yep.
experience in Overwatch 1, you don't want to play comp on the weekends anyways.
Fair enough. Yeah, there's probably more kids involved and stuff like that. So drunk people and things like that. How much time do you play ranked on the weekdays? If you were to be like, what's reasonable? What's the lowest bar? What did you do this past week?
Let me probably 10-15 hours
During the week?
during the week, yeah.
That's a lot of hours. That's a lot more than I was expecting. And that's a big increase from what you're saying in the forum, which is only around 5 to 10 hours
Oh,
a
wait,
week total.
I totaled them, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Uh, I'm just trying to think it through. Probably, like, 3 hours.
During the week. So you're playing
Yeah,
like a couple games a night or 2 or 3 nights a week, or whatever.
yeah.
To be honest with you, that could work. It could work quite well, actually. You could have it during the weekdays. You do a couple of games, a competitive, a couple times a week, and then just say quick play for the weekends. Stick with that. I don't know how
Right.
much you'd enjoy that. Maybe something to try, but it'd be fine. You could see improvement from
Yeah.
that.
One of the main things I should mention is, like, I have to disable voice chat and
That's
text
fine.
chat.
I don't think that's a problem. I don't think that's a problem. I don't. It's something that I do as well. I always tell the story of like I had it enabled initially. This was several seasons ago. Until somebody goes like, "Are you the real Spell?" No way, the real Spell would be feeding this hard. I'm like, all right, well, okay, dude. You know, so. But yeah. I think that's totally reasonable. Totally reasonable.
While you can be productive with it, I feel like most people are not, and it only helps me to not be productive as well.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Anything that's a major distraction, it's like screw off, screw off at that point. So, yeah, seems fine with me. Seems fine to me. And keep in mind that like these guidelines of like playing around 3 hours a week of competitive on the weekdays and then weekends with friends, I that's flexible, and I do think that you need to trust your maturity to find out what's going to work best for you. You know,
Mhm.
try it out. Like, you know, you might be like, well, no, because I'm not going to play enough, or like maybe, but try it out. See how it goes. Try it out.
See,
See how it
I'm
goes.
there's part of me so it's part of me, I know I can do it. That's the thing, is, like, I've been playing this game for so long,
Yep.
I just I should be able to do it. Like, you know what I mean? I should be is probably not the right
Yeah.
term, but it's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
easiest one.
Yeah, yeah. To me, it's less of like, you know, you've been playing this game for a long time, but that honestly has zero. In fact, that can actually be a negative thing, because if you've been playing this game for a long time in this state of competitive anxiety, you have more baggage than I don't even know. Like, it's a lot of baggage, right?
Right.
So you're actually building up more boundaries than you are, oh, well, I should be better. Well, actually, no, you shouldn't. Because if you've been in this state for as long as you have, yikes, mate. I'd be stuck too, right? Like, at some point I just had to break the mold, because I had external motivation that maybe you have not had up until this point. For example, you just had fun playing quick play with your friends. So why the frick would you worry about solo queue competitive, especially if it was a negative experience for you?
Right.
Right? So why is that seen as like a negative asterisk on your whole personality, especially when it comes to Overwatch? I don't see it as a negative thing at all. The difference is now you have a lot of baggage built up around competitive, but you want to venture more into competitive. So you kind of have to confront that baggage a little bit.
Right.
It's
And
like if you
also
if let's put it this way. What if you had a fear of rhinoceroses, this irrational fear of rhinoceroses, but you lived in New York City? Who gives a rip? Right?
right.
But then you got
That's
to move
kind
to
of what
Africa. You got to move to Africa. Okay, now you got to confront that, right? Now you got to confront that. And you got to have the confidence that you'll be able to figure that out.
right, and I don't know, it's one of those things I find weird. Like, it's basically the same mode. One of my major gripes with competitive, though, is definitely that if you get locked into a really bad or weird game, you're locked in.
Yep.
Like,
Yep. The life hack to work at, because I don't think any life hack is truly as simple as just do this and it makes it better. It's like you have to work at it, is to treat every single game as just a drill. That's the thing I've been saying for years, to treat every single game like you are playing a sport and you have to perform this task over and over again. And the game is just the backdrop where you practice it. The result is irrelevant. You're just there to practice your Suzus. You're just there to practice your aim. You're just there to practice your positioning as Mercy, and so on.
right,
And so then it's very easy to feel a little bit detached from the result, and yet very much still attached to your performance, which I think is the perfect and the most important balance. Because the reality of the situation is like, did you play any sports growing up as a kid?
so I played football a
Yeah.
little bit, but then I
Yeah.
eventually dropped it. I just didn't like it.
Yeah. Fair
Uh,
enough.
and I played soccer. I really
Okay.
enjoyed soccer.
So soccer is great, right? But imagine you had a soccer game 3 times every day.
Mm,
Do you see how like that would at some point you would you might still like try really hard and perform really hard, and you should, but at some point you would just be like, all right, this if we lose this, it's not that big of a deal, you know, because like
right.
we're gonna have so many more games, and I think that's like where you have to shift the thing with competitive. And I think that the problem with, not the problem with competitive, but one of the things with competitive is that sometimes you're confronted with your results every single day, and I think that's where it's harder to ignore it. But you have to remember that like you could literally queue an almost infinite number of games if you wanted to. Nobody's stopping you, right? Nobody's stopping you.
There's no physical limitations either, which is
Or much
weird to think
less.
about.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's in many ways why I think video games can be very addictive, is the lack of physical limitations. But regardless, the point is that when you play sports, when you play Overwatch like sports, it could be a very stressful experience. And I think that's why a lot of us Westerners have such a hard time, because we're so used to playing sports, right? So we play sports where, you know, you play for that one big game on the weekend, and then you're done. You got to go back to the drawing board and practice. But the reality of the situation is that big game never exists in Overwatch. And also going home and practicing also never really exists either. The game is the practice. Imagine if all you did with soccer was scrimmage for practice. That might be kind of fun, Um,
I'm exhausted.
but you'd be exhausted, right? But that's not exhausting in Overwatch, and that's all Overwatch is scrimmaging over and over and over and over and over. And so you can't go into it with this win or lose mindset because it would be mentally, psychologically, and even physiologically exhausting to feel like you're living and dying in every win. And that's why you're avoiding the mode.
Right.
Because you can't handle, nobody could handle that. If I right now had as much emotional investment in winning and losing as you had, I would be exhausted and avoid the mode. You're not weaker than anybody else. Your impression is slightly inaccurate and it comes from a different perspective. And so you're putting more duress and stress on yourself than you should. That's the problem. It's not that you're weak. It's the fact that you're treating it, you're dressing up, you're dressing up competitive in a way that it just really isn't, right? You're making it scarier than it really is.
Right. And the only way for me to really fix that is to just hunker down, play the mode, shut up.
Sure, but I also think not just like grinding it out, painfully, but also reminding yourself again that this is just a scrimmage. It doesn't matter if I win or lose. I'll be able to get the SR back. And what do I need to be practicing? This is just practice. What do I need to be practicing?
Right.
I'm completely detached from the result.
As far as my memory can go, one thing I am insanely proud of that I have done with this game is I have never gone on like those absurd loss streaks that you see. Whenever I'm tilted or I know that I'm just gonna play very poorly, I'm just like, that's it. Gonna put the game down. We're gonna move on.
But see, that's really where you kind of put yourself in a unique position because that is something to be proud of, right? In many ways, you're actually stronger than the average Overwatch player. They might have less competitive anxiety, but you have so much more maturity, and I think that's a lot harder to have.
Yeah, like I just see like some of these people when they have they actually hit the 15 game loss streak and I just go, how did you do that?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Yeah. Well, there you go. So you have the tools to be able to put the thing down when you need to. You have to kind of not get over, but work at your fear of the loss by exposing yourself to the fear, but also not even framing it in a new way, because that implies that you have to kind of shift reality away from what it is. It's actually the opposite. You are currently the one framing things right now in the wrong way. You need to get back to quote unquote reality. Thank you, Eminem. Right, where it's actually your perception is the one that's inaccurate. Right. Anybody that goes into competitive, like it's and you know what? It's that the problem with competitive is it's not just your perception that's off. It's the people that you're playing with too. Because that's why you probably don't want to join voice. Because everybody else in there, a lot of people in there, are probably living and dying by the result, and they're sharing that emotion with you, and it makes it a very unpleasant experience.
It's just everyone adding fuel to the fire.
Exactly.
Until somebody explodes, and then it's just like, well, this wasn't productive today.
Exactly. I mean, you know how it is. If you've ever played a pickup basketball game or pickup soccer game or anything else, or had that one board game night with that one douchebag, it's like people sometimes suck when it comes to competition. Some people just do not know how to compete without getting emotionally invested. And man, oh man, does it ruin the experience for everybody involved. And now just do that with random people that just play video games. And yeah, the result, your mileage may vary. And what sucks about it is because... Right, exactly. It gives people a lot more, guts to say and do things that they wouldn't otherwise do. But regardless, it's tough, because it's also that competition and that intensity is what can make it fun when it's channeled in the right direction. But regardless, try out the schedule, the structure that we've kind of given, and toy with it, tweak with it, see what works for you. And ultimately, like this doesn't need to be like there doesn't need to be any rush here. Like if you fall off for a week, you get back on, it doesn't really matter. You're still performing, doing better than you were before, right? So be patient with it. And then obviously, as you're tweaking with things and finding what works better for you, if you do have any questions along that way, you can message me anytime. I'll give you my 2 cents on it. Sound good?
Okay. Yeah. So one of the things real quick.
Sure.
So in quick play, I have the mindset of like a healthy mindset in that can't control the other people, whatever. What happens, happens.
Yep.
But whenever I queue into competitive, I get into that mindset of I start to blame my teammates or whatever. I see something dumb and it makes me mad. And it's just I don't want to have that mindset because after the game, I just go, man, that was stupid. Like, why am I freaking out?
You're falling into the very same trap of what you're trying to avoid.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all do it. We all do it. Um, Again, the answer is the same way that you tune out the people from the outside trashing you. Focus on yourself. Focus on yourself, and don't just say that like a mantra, but really do it. You know, like when you go into a game on Icon Voldy and you have a Junkrat one trick on attack and a Pharaoh without a pocket, and you're playing Lucio and you want to like lose your mind. What are you practicing on Lucio? Like, seriously, ask yourself, what am I practicing? Like, is my wall running? My amp usage? Am I thinking about beat? My aim? And if you don't immediately know the answer to that question, well, no wonder you're getting distracted. You can't just say, I cannot get distracted. You have to say, I have to make sure I stay focused on the blank. Easier said than done, but that's why we're here.
Yeah.
We're here to give you some things to work on, right? And ultimately, we'd love for you to be able to come up with some ideas or details or things for you to work on yourself, right? But yeah, okay. Any other questions so far?
No.
Okay. Form looks okay from there. Sleep is a little bit low, but hey, 7.5 hours is my final offer.
Okay.
But that's all I really got. Do you want to jump into some gameplay?
Sure.
All right, let's do that. Do you have a replay code or codes for me?
I will get you that. So, this game, I'm pretty sure I know what I did wrong for the most part.
Sure.
This is one of those games where it goes back to, well, I kind of know what I did wrong. There were some positioning mistakes that are very obvious.
Yeah.
So, this is one of those games where I'm just constantly being harassed by the Sombra.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Now, we got Ana. Oh, this is Ana all the way through the defense here. Wait, is this Ana all the way through?
Yeah.
Lovely. I love Ana. Okay.
Ana has been my main. I have over 1,000 hours on her.
Makes sense. Very good. Very good. Okay, so obviously we talked a little bit about Sombra already, but priorities with Ana. What are some things that you're going to be trying to do with Ana, or things that you've been trying to work on earlier?
Nade usage, hitting them.
Sure.
Lately, well, in comp at least, I just can't hit my nades. It's part of the anxiety, probably.
Yep.
I know that they had Sombra this game. I was holding sleep for Sombra mainly.
Sure.
But I do yeet it a couple times, just,
Sure.
I'm not doing anything, must press button.
Yeah, I get it.
But it's mostly nade usage.
Okay.
I think at least as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
I think my mechanics are passable.
Okay, I'm sure they are. We'll find out. If they're not, I'll let out a blood-curdling scream and we'll address that. But ultimately, that just comes with practice.
There's definitely times where it's just, what are you aiming at? But I feel like that's Overwatch.
Yeah. I think everyone has moments like that, even the best players. So, okay, I'll kind of just see what I see here, and then if you have any questions, just like I said, well, actually, no, you let out the blood-curdling scream, and then I will pause and we'll address your concerns. So, but yeah, offensive pressure, very important, and finding a balance between that and not just freaking dying off of cooldown. Nice nade. So this is a great start. Have you heard of Awkward?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know the way he coaches support, I assume?
Go in, kill, repeat.
Yeah. One of the things that has become more prevalent, I think, through some of his coaching is talking about like offensive pressure and always prioritizing that whenever you can. And obviously there's a balance and there's nuance with that's sometimes lost, but I think this is a good example of wasted pressure. You are alleviating pressure on your Mercy right now. She's been shot. So you're going to heal her up a little bit. Problem is if you look at where she's positioned, she's probably okay. And looking at the HP that she's at, again, probably okay. My question is there anything else on your screen that would be more worth pressuring than alleviating the pressure on your Mercy?
Send it down.
That's it. Send it down. I mean, even if it hits the Roadhog, because it's obviously not likely you're going to be able to kill the target, but that's still fat damage on a fat target and damage that will force this guy back. And then if you force this guy back, maybe the soldier's isolated, or maybe the Sombra's isolated, or even you just buy yourself some time and then maybe you put pressure off of your Sombra so that she lives because the Roadhog's backing up, and so on. Your job is to find that balance between should I be alleviating pressure or should I be outputting pressure? And ironically, oftentimes with Ana, it's kind of like a 60-40 in terms, it depends on the situation. I wouldn't overthink the percentage too much, but this is definitely one of the situations where because of how your Mercy's positioned, you need to be shooting. You need to be shooting. And because you didn't shoot, and because even here, you're healing on targets that probably don't need it, do you see how the enemy team has taken space from here to here? And now you're at a much higher risk of dying, as is the rest of your team. Now, that wasn't all your fault, but it was partially your fault. Even here, Chip healing the D.Va, hit some shots. I mean, if you know the Sombra's in her own backline, I might even go for a sleep dart here, right? Just because I know that I'm not going to need it anytime soon. Nice shot.
One of the things is I'm pretty sure I'm still trying to get over the Overwatch 1 mentality.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that Overwatch 1 I was really good at, I just would never die. I just could not die. Nobody could kill me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, in Overwatch 2, I've realized you just gotta go for it. Like,
I think
the kill is way more important as long as you can get out. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, there's one fewer tank to heal. So there's less time where the responsibility of alleviating pressure is a must, and more time when outputting pressure is a must. Living, if that living isn't providing value, isn't good enough, as you kind of were saying. Mm-hmm. And here, you're a little close, so go try the sleep dart. It's funny, even there, like looking at you healed your Mercy when she was full. And you had a Nade, and you had a Roadhog literally frontlining, and you chose to heal a Mercy who is essentially full instead of nading the Roadhog. Because you know what's going to help your Mercy? Nading the Roadhog. You guys see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because this is the guy that's going to kill your Mercy, and a heal is not going to keep your Mercy alive if he hits that hook. There it is, but it's only like, what, 3 seconds late?
Mm-hmm.
And now they've already got the space. And now it's like one of those fights where it's like, you know, you didn't die, you didn't feed, but you didn't hit the sleep dart, you didn't hit the nade, and you didn't hit the shots.
I'm just gonna say it.
I mean, that's okay. That takes practice. You know, I wouldn't worry so much about it. That one was really close. That was a good sleep dart. But yeah, you lost your team the fight in many ways because you just didn't put out any pressure. Now, before we put too much pressure on you, ironically,
mm-hmm.
I could look through every single person on your team. Mercy, Sombra, D.Va, Pharah. And if I was coaching them, I'd be like, you trolled it. You're the reason that they lost the first point, right? Because the reality of the situation is that everybody on your team probably had enough agency to where if they played it properly, you guys would have won that fight, right? And obviously, in this case, we're just focusing on you know?
Right. Where everyone is just everywhere, and I just don't know what's happening.
Well, I know where the Sombra is.
She's
in
dead.
Spawn. Yeah, she's in Spawn. Yeah. That was good. Pressure. Good. Nice. Not so nice. It's okay. Maybe get it. Nice nade. Nice pocket. A little bit slow in the pocket, but you know she needed the healing. Just
yeah.
That's really. That's okay. But you also were going for a nade, so it's not the end of the world.
I wanted the nanoer, to be honest.
wait. Oh, unfortunate. Okay. Let's keep going here. Not a bad fight from you, actually. Cover usage could have been a little bit better, I think, but honestly, not too shabby.
Yeah, pretty sure the cover usage is not great. I mean,
well,
I just don't know where to stand because everyone is everywhere.
Yeah. Good. Maybe you live. Yeah. This is good. Good healing. She's full. Get the Sombra. See, it's funny. This is like you could see your psychology kicking in here. even though it's not really that big of a deal, because it's like, it's not that big of a deal. But your Mercy's fine. Do you see your first responsibility or your first instinct here is to go back and like, heal my full HP team?
Yeah.
There's a Sombra right there. She's right there. Put her out.
I wanted to shoot at her, but I lost track of her. I didn't know where she went.
Well, you're losing track of her now because you're looking at your team when your team doesn't need your help.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that like this is going to be the most challenging aspect maybe for you to improve, because it really feels like this is a habit of you to prioritize my team's well-being over the enemy team's misery. That's it. Over the enemy team's misery. And sometimes your team's well-being is the enemy team's misery. And right now, this Sombra getting shot or slept is the most important thing you could have been doing. Instead, you're like, my Sombra's missing 50 HP. Oh, my Mercy, she needs a little bit of healing here, you know? We gotta keep healing her, right? No. No. Heck, even now, there's nothing better to do. What should you be doing? Oh, look at you, you're doing it. I think. Kind of.
This is the really bad part. I remember looking at this, and I should have just went higher ground.
You could have.
I got stun locked.
The irony is you could have gone here. This would have been higher risk, higher reward, but higher risk, higher reward. You could have also gone here. This would have been medium risk, medium reward, or you could have gone high ground as well. To be honest with you, I don't give a rep. Just not here. Because this is what we call high risk, low reward, where you don't have a good sightline and you have no cover. So for what purpose are you here? I mean, heck, even here. No, go ahead.
One of the main things was I realized the fight was starting, kind of. And I'm by myself, and I'm like, Sombra's somewhere.
Yes.
She's a-coming.
Yeah, yep. As long as you have your CDs and you have cover, you're fine.
Right.
You're fine. So now you're like, oh no, it's too late. But the reality of the situation is that's not the only position that you needed to take with high ground. You could have also made this one do as well. In fact, if you had been here, instead of healing your full HP teammates, you could have actually been shooting and farming the Roadhog. You could have been nading the Roadhog. You could have been preventing this Kiriko and the Sojourn from walking forward. Mercy dies, nothing really can do about that. What happens here? You don't have cover. Are you gonna get punished for cover? You have just enough. Would have preferred you to stay near cover longer. So like when she comes out, she's like, oh shoot, I've messed up. Just nade yourself here. And then just jiggle peek her right there, or maybe even rotate back and catch her by surprise with the sleep dart. Don't walk into the open again. Essentially, is the answer.
I'm pretty sure my plan here was just to go die on cart.
Sure, but this fight's still going. This is. I mean, you die on cart and then nano the diva, right?
Right.
It's okay. It's okay.
The sliver of hope.
All comes back to cover here. I beg of you to press. Is your nade on E?
Yeah.
Press it. Do it. Yeah. Oh, it's okay. It still hits a Sojourn. You're good.
Yeah,
good pocket.
Too.
Now go. Get the sleep. There it is, right there. Get it. Good shots. You don't even need the sleep dart. That's okay. So the one thing I will say with sleep dart is, you ready for this one? Here's a solution to hitting more sleep darts. You ready for this?
Play May.
Sleep. No, it's not to play May. That's one of those bullcrap Overwatch 1 tips where it's like, get better at sleep dart by playing a hero other than the character that you're playing. I was like, what are you? That stuff. Remember that stuff? People used to say that all the time. What was the other one? Oh, you need to get better at your tracer tracking by playing Soldier. I loved that one. That one was my favorite.
The character that barely 360s.
Right. I'm pretty sure there were people in Overwatch University, the Reddit subreddit back in the day, that were saying stuff like, everyone needs to play like 100 hours, or not 100 hours, but like 20 hours of Mercy to learn game sense better. And I was like, bro, like, what are these people smoking? Anyway, here's the solution to hitting more sleep darts, besides obviously playing 75 hours of May. Relax. You're really, I know it's really easy to feel like, oh, I'm gonna freaking die. No, you're not. Relax. Take the extra quarter of a second. And what you do by slowing that down, did you ever hear the Bruce Lee quote, slow is smooth, smooth is fast? Well, now you've heard it. Okay.
Yeah.
The idea is that if you start slow, you develop the technique and the confidence to increase speed. But if you skip steps, what you do is you fail, and you fail repeatedly, such to the point where you develop a little bit of anxiety around, oh, am I going to hit this or not? Oh, I need to hit it quickly, otherwise I'm going to die. And so what happens is that anxiety not only makes you miss the sleep dart, but it develops a bad habit that prevents you from hitting future sleep darts. So when you're starting this, all you really need to do is be like, I'm going to take an extra half a second, even a full second, line it up, to go for the sleep dart. And if I still miss it, okay. But I'll probably increase my chances of hitting it. And guess what? That builds a little bit of confidence. And as you build confidence, you also build speed. And you don't need the half a second anymore. In fact, you only need a quarter of a second or 0.2 seconds and or 0.1 second. And in fact, we're at 0.0000005 seconds, and that's all you need. And then you don't need any time at all, right? And that's kind of where we're at right now, where I feel like a lot of your missed sleep darts have been very easy sleeps that you've missed. And it looks like a little bit of panic setting in.
I do as well. Part of it is the comp game mode. Like, I'm very anxious right now. And
yeah.
To be honest, I hit a lot of my sleeps in quick play.
Yeah.
But like as soon as I load into comp, it's just like that's all gone.
Right.
All that muscle memory is gone.
So then that needs to be something that you identify, where you go, I am nervous because it's ranked, so I'm going to force myself to take an extra half a second before I sleep dart. Something that might not need to do in quick play, but that's how you fight the tidal wave, right?
Right.
You fight the tidal wave by forcing yourself to relax just a little bit more, and you never know. Forcing yourself to relax a little bit more, might actually assist you to be more relaxed and ranked. Not just hit more sleep darts, but also to be more relaxed. Also, this is another one of the situations where, oh my goodness gracious. One of the situations here where like the second my nade comes off a cooldown, you need to stop healing and you need to hit this anti-nade. You hit this anti-nade, Kiriko dies, you win this fight.
This is deflecting, but can they stop changing the cooldown? It's so annoying.
Oh no, I'm with you on that one. It is offensive change, really. It is ridiculous that you now have, what is it, 12, 13 seconds?
It's I think it's 12.
12 and is it a 15-second cooldown with sleep, or 14? 14. Come on, 14 and 12 seconds. It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. I'm thankful that this character is still still has like an awesome weapon to play with, because imagine if you had to like a 12 and a 14-second cooldown, like a freaking Baptiste, but your weapon play was boring. Like it would be actually such a boring hero to play.
I can't play Bap because of how long his cooldowns are. It's just so boring.
Nice shots. Yeah. Now it's funny though, because you talk about like how you're a big choker, but this looks like pretty ice cold to me. You're 30 HP. You know what I'm saying? You just dropped her in the grave. Like so much trash.
Anxiety pops up at weird times, and I've been trying to work on it.
Like sleep darting? Like sleep darting?
Yeah. Like if I don't hit this, I die, and it just plants itself.
Yeah, I got you. I think that's normal for everybody. We're not always confident. We're not always anxious. Sometimes it just comes in and out. Unfortunate nade miss there. That's all right. I think you have to go for a sleep dart here. I'm not going to lie with you. I see this here. We're so far behind. This is the equivalent of like having to hit an offensive nade, where I think if you don't hit a sleep dart here, I think you probably lose this fight. So here's what you do. This is a really strategic approach, right? You see this big red clump? You Hail Mary, right? And you throw it in there and see what happens. No, you might as well. You got nothing to lose here.
Yeah, it's definitely another problem is from Overwatch 1, I hold sleep dart way too long sometimes. Like, it's really bad.
See, we're talking about like we've got our grocery list of problems here. Let's actually talk about the things that you've done pretty well. You've absolutely humiliated the DPS in 1v1s, 3 times now?
That's something I take pride in.
Right? The nano boosts have been okay in the timing. You've hit some fat nades. Cover usage has been okay at times. You've hit some good shots. Mechanics have been okay, like you said. Yeah. So I can also bring my laundry list of positive things to say, right? So, you can't sit here and back here and be like, oh, this is another problem, this is another problem, this is another problem, this is another problem. Everybody has a laundry list. I don't care if you're an Overwatch League player, top 500, whatever, or bronze. Your goal is to look at the laundry list and be like, you know what? That's kind of overwhelming. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scrub this one dirty old shirt and make it a little bit cleaner. And then I'll move on to the next one. So for you, we have a laundry list, of course. Let's not pretend that we don't. You have issues. You make mistakes. I do too. So what are those mistakes do you want to work on in the future? You don't need to answer that right now, but that's kind of something that you want to work on. It's like, what's the first shirt that I'm going to scrub at for the next week? Right? Is it the cover usage? Is it the relaxing before sleep dart? Is it the anti-nading when I see opportunities, or making sure that I'm not healing unnecessarily when I could be damaging? Right? Don't swamp yourself with negativity, because the reality of the situation is that everybody has that. Like, again, here, like, okay, so let's this is a great fight, because I don't know why, respectfully, you didn't nade this. I mean, this is like this is shrieking anti-nade now. I'm begging you. You're trolling. This is terrible. But you just got hooked, EMP'd, and you almost solo killed the Sombra. In fact, you actually forced Suzu by yourself on a Sombra that EMP'd you. That's crazy. That is ice in your veins crazy. I don't know how you did that. Right?
Right.
So you're a complicated player. You have both good and bad things about you. So let's beautiful Nano. Anti-nade right now.
Yeah, but watch where I stand.
Right! Great nade, great Nano, great shot, or would have been a great shot, but then you just freaking feed, right?
Right.
So, but this should be encouraging, because it means that not everything is bad. It just needs some things that need some tuning, right? And cover usage is a really big one. And especially cover usage when you're not sure, when you're in the middle of a firefight, right? You tend to get really stressed out and you've just pressed W. And that's a very common problem. Huge, 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 huge! You're popping off! Go for the sleep dart. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Fish it, fish it, fish it, fish it, fish it. Oh! Huge! You're popping off. You gotta touch now. You nade her. Get her. There's bubble. Get her. You just carried this fight. You're a freak. Nice job. Now I'm gonna watch you stand out the open and rush your sleep dart and die this next fight. But all things are perfectly balanced.
I don't remember the next fight, but I'm sure that happens.
Oh no, you're some red EMP. You got cover usage checked off. You got cover usage checked off. I like this position here. You got a good little anti-nade angle here. So one little detail here with the anti-nade. So I think that maybe it's the Sombra, which I understand, but I think sometimes it's okay to just use anti-nade if you see a crazy opportunity, even if they have Sombra. Like, I see this Cassidy here, and I'm like, this guy has a death wish. What is he doing? He is standing. He's pulling a Vex positional moment, right? Anti-nade this guy, he dies. I promise you. Or at least Suzu and every freaking thing in the history of the universe, right? But instead, you choose to shoot the Mercy. Now, what's funny is the shooting the Mercy is actually pretty good. But you know what? It's not as good as anti-nading the Cassidy.
Because then Mercy can't really help him other than...
Right, so you guarantee force Suzu, you probably force a bubble, and then you can shoot the Mercy. So what I would say is just remember that your anti-nade is your real spike in value, and everything else is just not quite as valuable. So the first thing that you want to try and get sorted out if you see an opportunity is your anti-nade. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Like this fight is going and going and going and going, and you can very clearly see that the Sombra is not going for you, so you don't need to save your anti-nade. I would at least turn around and throw my anti-nade and then go back to healing my team if I need to. But see, that's what makes that was massive. That's what makes Ana so broken, is the fact that you can just like throw your anti-nade and just go back to healing and doing whatever, right? And there it is. There's the Cassidy. Again here, where's the anti-nade? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I'm looking for it. Walk forward even. Walk forward even. Like, right? Like, go get in that tracer. Like, as long as you have cover, find that Mercy. Too much weapon, not enough anti-nade. That's not really fair to say. It's too much priority on the weapon early. Like, right now, should you anti-nade the Zarya?
Probably not.
Probably not. She's just going to bubble it, right? Too far away. Not really. But as soon as this fight starts, you go. So now you just shoot, just pop off, whatever. Play your sniper game. Good. Get that anti-nade out. She's close to full HP. Leave her alone. Get the anti-nade now. I don't care if it's on Reaper, to Force Wraith, or Mercy, or whatever. Nano.
I got lost.
Yeah, you
I
got a little
definitely
lost
got
in the
lost.
sauce. A little
Yeah.
lost in the sauce there. Yeah, okay. Oh, no.
It's a big
Disaster. You live and die by the sword. That's okay. That's okay. Okay, so our laundry list, we talked about it. I kind of fed you a little bit of what I thought. But what's more important is what you are seeing right now. What's going to stick with you? What are you seeing? What's going to stick with you so far that you need to work on?
Less defensive with my cooldowns, more aggression.
So vague. I don't want vague. You need something that's actually actionable every time you play an Overwatch game, regardless of the comp. What needs to change?
Uh,
And you might have to think about this one a little bit. I know this is not an easy question.
nade and coverage.
Nade and cover usage. What about your nade?
Use it more.
Well, that's also vague. Be more specific. Take your time.
Hit more people with it. I don't know.
Sure. What was the problem early on in these fights? You remember what we were talking about? Like, kind of even going back to first point, right? Where it felt like it wasn't your first priority to nade. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think it needs to be your first priority to nade, if that makes sense.
Right.
So whenever you can, try to put that as the first priority. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cover usage, that one is pretty, you could be vague with that one because that one's pretty obvious, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is there anything else that stood out to you, even if they're just details?
Taking more time on the sleep dart, especially when playing comp.
Yeah. Brilliant. That seemed to be mostly it. I think. Anything else that you can think of?
No.
Okay. Well, let's keep going then. Lots of good things, though. Mechanics were really, really sick at points. You did look for offensive pressure. You weren't only heal botting. Nanos seemed pretty good. Outside of not using the one at the end there. Nice nade. That's what we talk about priority with nade, right? Like, you're here and you're like, all right, where's my nade angle here? Where's my nade angle? You could have naded this Bastion before the Sigma dropped, but whatever. You use the nade. Holy crap. He's dead. I mean, and they also use Suzu, too. I mean, that's just, the Iterate team is just weeping. And you did that. That's your fault. Nice job. Now, he's fine. This is why having, like, not letting people be low, but like, okay, this guy's out of the fight. I chipped healed him a little bit. What's going on your left side?
I do believe it's not Diva anymore,
Yeah,
is it?
He just swapped around.
Rom is getting melted.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you can hear it. So this is where, like, this isn't just about like, oh, you need to be doing damage. Stop healing people when you could be doing damage. Also, stop healing people when somebody else is in the middle of combat, right? I think this is where you're getting a little too tunneled on, oh, I gotta heal him all the way to full. Oh, crap, this guy is dead. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Right.
All right, get that nade. Let's go. You have it. Hit it. Get it. Oh, good try. Get it. Hit the nade. Oh, my days. Do you see this? Oh, like just the heavens open up. Yes! Brilliant! Well done! Don't scope in for too long. There you go. That was beautiful. Very juicy. Your two nades just won your team this fight. You actually scoped too long, weren't very good with your cover usage, got a little too close to the enemy tank, missed your sleep dart, healed your Reaper too much to full, but you know what you did do? You hit your nades.
Right.
You carried the fight. You know? Nice job. So again, that's like just goes to show that you don't have to play perfectly. Like, we talked about so many things that can be so confusing. Oh my, just work on one thing on the laundry list at a time. Your ram is just pushed up way too far forward. You try to help him. You try to take an angle. It was fine. Now I only have one request. Kill the Sojourn. Please. I don't know if you're going to be able to do it.
Spoilers?
No, I don't want spoilers. I want to see it. Wait. Get her, Nade! No!
The Suzu. The Suzu.
Oh, you missed the opportunity. You just needed a Nade here. She's dead. Oh, no. Oh, disaster. That's okay. I respect it. I love it. Get in there, Grandma. Come on, Grandma. I just imagine Anna like whipping out the walker, you know, and just beating it over the head like you young punks. You know, tennis balls flying off the ends of the legs, you know, false teeth, dentures. Nice. Now, Nade. Do it. Do it right now. Stop healing here. This is not the most important thing. If you want to help your ram, Nade this son of a gun or daughter of a gun, or Nade this son of a gun or this guy, or get them out. Do it. Peek briefly to throw the anti-nade, then go back to cover. You can still win this. Look for the nade. Where is it? There it is. Do it. Nice. You know, that's a funny thing. The second that you actually naded, now this fight's winnable. The only problem with this is what? Do you see what's wrong with your screen?
Well, there's a lot of colors.
There is a lot of colors. It's beautiful. Right, cover, exactly. You take this exact same engagement here, I actually think that you're 100% safe. Because the Sojourn slides in, you run in and grab Mega, she pushes you in here, she's cooked. We've seen how that's gone before. Just had no cover, that's all. And heck, we could also even apply the sleep dart thing. You get what I'm saying? With that being said, beautiful nano, beautiful nade, and you win the fight. Nice job. It's astonishing how, like, when you use your cooldowns appropriately, you don't have to hit one target. You win fights. Nice job.
I'm gonna blame the constant cooldown change.
Yes, I will too. Because it's much easier psychologically. That is absolutely dirty. Oh, that is the best thing I've seen all day. You know, I respect it. I really do respect it. I think the only thing I would have here is just get your grandma booty cheeks engaged and get to hear faster. If you get to hear faster, then you're good to go. That being said, this is hilarious. I love the ego here. And you know what? Get rolled. She got rolled. You got Suzu? I don't even know if the Mercy's going to be able to res it. Maybe we win this. I'm surprised the Mercy didn't put... The Mercy should have popped Valkyrie and res it. But you know what? Guess what? Go back to spawn. Oh, you should go back to spawn. You know you can teleport to the next spawn, right?
Yeah. It's one of those summon cost fallacies.
Yeah. You've already started moving in that direction. You got to lose some weight anyway. So, yeah. But seriously, nice job. That's freaking amazing. I love that. All right, you got time for one more fight? Do you have time for one more fight?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Use the nade. Use the sleep dart. There's no Sombra. Use it. Go for it right now. Stop it. She's basically full. She's behind cover. Stop it. You know what it is? Okay, here's what it is. It's like that like stereotypical like housewife in that one 1950s movies you saw where it's like, all right, you know, is your hair brushed or your dress put on and did you have your nice white socks and your best shoes? Mom, that's fine. We need to go. I'm gonna be late. That's what you're doing in team fights. All right, everybody full HP? Okay, we're all good. Okay, I don't want to nade yet. I don't want to, everybody full. Okay, are we safe? Okay, you can heal this guy and make sure we're full HP. Anna, nade! We're going to lose the fight, right? Like, use the cooldown. Holy crap! That's the scare. Look at that. Oh, you force Suzu and then Death Blossom and then look at that. Imagine if you had not naded there. What happens to Death Blossom? Gets Suzu'd. What happens to the Reaper? He dies. What does he do in team chat? He says slurs, right? But you know what I'm saying? Like this is what I'm talking about. Like, but that there was actually like that could have happened 6 years ago. You know, it kind of feels like you need everybody to be perfectly safe and happy and comfortable before you get your valuable cooldowns out, which is ironically what gets your teammates killed because they need that pressure quickly. Like you said, maybe a little bit of that Overwatch 1 thing where you're not expecting things to devolve. Like again here. If you do not sleep dart or anti-nade this Bastion right now, you will not be able to heal your Ramattra enough to keep him alive. It's impossible. So you're healing. You missed the nade because you were too busy healing. And now he's dead. And you, by the way, still haven't used your sleep dart. You kind of see what I'm saying?
That's cosmetic.
Right? This is a perfect... The reason why this fight is so good is because I actually really like your positioning. Outside the fact that you're pushed too far up, I would have liked you right here. So this fight is actually the perfect representation of what you're doing. You're kind of thinking about positioning, but you forget cover. You're focused on healing instead of getting immediate value out of your cooldowns. And then your team ends up losing the fight because you just didn't use your cooldowns. Oh, and then you also rushed your anti-nade too. So it wasn't sleep dart this time, it was actually your anti-nade. But at the same time, you hit some shots. The initial positioning was good. If you'd had nano, you would have used it. I know that, and that would have been a great nano. So everything good and bad about your play, we just saw on our screen right there. So that being said, let's take some notes. We talked about a lot of things that were not related to Ana early on, but let's focus on the Ana stuff for the notes. What do you need to add to your laundry list? We kind of talked about that about 5-10 minutes ago. Let's revisit it. What needs to go on the list?
Better cover usage.
Better cover usage. You know, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Boring stuff. But now the juice.
Faster with Nade.
Faster with Nade when opportunities present themselves. And that means don't just throw it first thing, right? Look for an opportunity when the fight starts, then hit it in the mouth. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, that's your... What else?
Healing of basically full people.
Keep an eye on unnecessary healing of essentially full HP targets who are safe. I'm going to put this little detail in here, which is definitely a new one from the Overwatch 1 hive mind. You ready for this last two words in this statement? Ready? Especially supports. You know why? Because they got a freaking passive. Let them use it. The Mercy's missing 20 HP. She doesn't need the 20 HP, you know?
Absolutely right. I forget about that.
You know?
And I use the passive too.
Right. It's hard. It feels like such a, like you said, it's, you know, when you talked earlier about like how like I should know better. I've been playing this game for a long time. And I said, no, actually that's why you have this problem, right? It's the same thing here where you have these years of all these habits that may or may not have been useful in Overwatch 1. And now they're not. And so you're like, oh, I should know better. I've been playing this game for 5 years. Actually, no. Somebody that's brand new to the game probably learned this faster than you did. You're set in your ways. You got to break out just a teeny bit, right?
Those boomers.
Yeah, you're a boomer now. Congratulations. And then, slow down sleep dart a tad and ranked to smooth things out. ASMR yourself. You know what you need to do? Every time you have an opportunity, like Roadhog Old, Genji Blades, whatever, I want you to alt tab real fast, pull up an ASMR, I don't know, like waterfall. Perfect. Okay. Take a couple of deep breaths, go up, get some coffee, take a walk around the room, sit back down, tab back in, then hit the sleep dart. You got me?
Right. Okay. Play some other game for a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. That's to go see some friends, meet some family. You know, go sit outside in the rain. Anything like that. Do some yoga. It's good stuff. But okay, any questions?
No.
All right, mate. Well, we talked about a lot.